Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and I'm just gonna make a card today. I have a lot of fun techniques to share with you, and first thing we're gonna do is some stamping, and I'm using some Wizard of Oz stamps from Lost Ghost Designs, and I've been watching the show Once Upon a Time with my kids, and you know, now they're bringing in some of the Wizard of Oz characters, the flying monkeys and the Wicked Witch. So I was inspired to create with these stamps today. So first thing I'm going to do is stamp my Tin Man here on the paper. And I actually just have my little embossing pad under there just to make sure I'm going to get a good impression. Alright, he stamped beautifully. And then I want to stamp the Yellow Brick Road, but if I just stamp that on top, then it would cover up him. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, so what I did was I stamped him on a Post-it note, and I made sure I stamped part of him over where the sticky part is, and this is on the non-sticky side though, and then I cut him out. And then what you do here is you simply you make sure your ink is dry, and then you stick this down right on top of your image. So when you stamp on the Post-it note and you cut it out, you want to make sure you cut it out. You want to go kind of inside the lines a little bit, and that just helps so when you stamp over it, you don't end up with a halo on top. So now I'm going to ink up my Brick Road, which is also from that set of stamps from Lost Coast Designs. I know when I watch back my videos, I'm like, my gosh, I put a lot of ink on that stamp. I don't know why. I just tend to ink and ink and ink and ink. And so I noticed something weird about the stamp. Not really weird about the stamp, but I was stamping in and it was looking like my guy was walking up a brick wall. So then I realized if I just tipped my stamp so that corner was going down slightly, it looked a lot more natural. So so I'm going to stamp with that tip down, and I'm stamping right on top of my my image and my mask, and I'm going to press down really well. And I always give my stamp a few seconds for the ink to transfer from the stamp onto the paper. Alright, and that's pretty good. I do have a little bit of an area there where it didn't transfer in between the arm and the foot, but that's alright. That's not going to be that big of a deal. Alright, now I'm just going to set this aside for a few moments while I just make sure that ink is really dry before we color it. We are going to color that together. How exciting! So I'm going to zoom out again, and I'm going to share this tip with you. If you have these old embossing plates from Fiskars, I bought these at Walmart. You get like, I don't know, I think it was a set of 6, but there's designs on each side, and I think it was like, I don't know, 10 bucks, maybe less. And then they came out with another set that was, I think I even got cheaper, but anyway, you can use these. What you do is you put this on, well, you can use it with a stylus, but this is so much quicker. You just set your paper down, and then you set your squishy pad, and then, but you want to omit using one of your cutting pads, so you just go through your die cutter minus one of the cutting pads, and then you have the other cutting pad on top, and then you get this lovely embossed design, and you just flip it over and you kind of match them up, and you can go through again if you have a longer piece of paper like I did. So there, you can emboss this with, and you know, it's a different way to use that tool. So I thought I wanted to use some rainbow colors on this. So what I did, I had my little ink pads out from a art journal page that I did a little bit earlier today, actually probably yesterday by the time I get this video up, and I thought, well, I'm gonna do a little I'm gonna sponge on some ink in some rainbow order, because you know, you think Wizard of Oz and rainbows and whatnot. So I'm just gonna, using my little homemade daubers, just kind of sponge on a little ink to make a cool background for my card. I don't get quite as deep an emboss as I would if I had used like an embossing folder, but I kind of like that soft emboss. Just gives you kind of a cool tone-on-tone texture. I like it. And, you know, if you already have them, I think they still make them. If you already have them, you get another way to use them. That's the way I look at it. I like to try to find as many ways to use what I already have, because supplies are expensive and they take up a lot of space. And that's what I'm noticing a lot lately, is that I'm running out of space. So if something is going to earn its keep in my craft room, it really needs to perform. Now, if you want to have a smoother look and you just want to catch the kind of raised area, you could use a brayer to put your ink on. That's an idea. You could use color dusters. I would have got a much smoother look with the color dusters. But that's alright. I had these these daubers out because I was doing some stenciling in that art journaling video, so I just wanted to kind of just have fun with what was on my desk, and figured, heck, I'll turn the video camera on, and if it comes out good, then I can upload it. If not, then oh well. Nothing really, haven't really lost anything because I wanted to make the card anyway. And I think this is going to be kind of like just like a friendship uplifting type of card. Those are nice to have. So earlier in my art journal video, I used a quote by Dolly Parton. If you want to have, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. I just love that. I love that quote. And so then I thought, well, she has so many wonderful quotes. She's really a brilliant woman. I actually went online and I searched for a bunch of her quotes, and I printed them off so that I could just die cut them and use them on cards. And I'll actually share that document on my blog. Link is below to my blog in a day or two, and then you can print them off, change a font or whatever. And they all say Dolly Parton on there, just to quote her. I want to light up my ink a bit. Actually, before I do that, I will ink the edges of this. This is the little quote. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. Isn't that a great quote? I just love it. Let's see, what color do I think I might use the blue. Kind of ink that up with the blue. Just glide it in from the edge. It's got that lovely little embossed edge because it's nestability. It was one of those like $7 ones at AC Moore. It was kind of a deal because I just have some basic shapes. I don't have very many, but the ones I do have are ones that I know I would use time and time again. Alright, I like that. It's very soft. I'm going to set that aside for right now, and we'll let those panels dry, and I will wipe this up, and we will do some coloring. Actually, I'm done inking. I could just set this right out of the way. Why don't I do that? I'll set that right out of the way, and that way I don't have to worry about the wet area I just wiped up. Oh, and the other thing is when you make your masks, store them in like with your stamp sets, so that way you won't have to cut it again when you want to use that stamp again. All right, here's my image. I'm going to zoom in a bit while we color, because that way you can kind of see what we're doing. There we go. Okay, and for the road, I'm going to first go in with a brown permanent marker. This is sepia. This is a Copic, and I'm going to go in and just kind of throw in some of the lines between the bricks. I want to darken it a little bit up more, like kind of under where he is, because that area would have a little bit more shadow and be a little bit darker, and also over near where the grass is on the edge. So I want to make sure I definitely get some stuff in there. And then I'm actually going to switch to the chisel edge because I think I'll get a much more natural, yeah, it's easier to draw a straight line with the chisel edge and not make it look too fussy. And notice how I turn my work so that I can get my pen going the right direction. I can see where my stamping missed. I can actually kind of throw in a few of those lines. Then I'm going to color over the entire thing with the chisel edge of a gold marker, and this is Pro Marker. It's the color gold. It's not metallic, but it's the color gold. Got the yellow brick road here. I just love Wizard of Oz theme thing. I have a lot of Wizard of Oz theme stamps. I have two sets from Lost Coast Designs. They're gorgeous, and I have one that's like discontinued. It was from a company called the Stamping Ground. I don't even know if they're around anymore. I've got a Crafty Secret set. That might be it. I've got quite a few. I have quite a few Alice in Wonderlands too. I just love them. And then I'm going to take this lighter Spectrum Noir chisel edge and just kind of go over in spots to give it kind of like some sunny patches on the road. Alright, if I want, I can even soften the edges a bit. Oops, that's gray. With a clear blender. I might have to soften and then go back in with a little bit of the lighter color to kind of prime the paper. I'm working on Paper Tray Ink Stamper Select cardstock. It's really great for coloring. It's got a little more tooth than the Nina. So you can go over it with like colored pencils afterwards. It's really kind of nice. And you know, just work your colors until you're happy with the saturation. Alright, and I want to do a little bit of green grass here on the edge. I'm just starting with this dark olive green, and there are a few tufts of grass in the road, just kind of scribbling them on. Don't get too fussy with it. And then I'm going to go in with this lighter green just to kind of blend it out. I typically don't spend a long time coloring usually, but you can spend a lot more if you want to. Now for the Tin Man, I'm going to start in with this Cool Gray 7. It's very dark. You want to use it very sparingly, but I like to kind of get in there first with this color because I feel that once I get my darks in, I feel much more like confident with my colorings. I don't feel like I'm going to ruin anything. I feel very much like, okay, the darks are in. I've established those dark values. Now I can, now I kind of know where I'm at. And going with a little bit of a Cool Gray 5. And it's kind of, I think I kind of actually, if I'm doing something, if I'm coloring something hard, I like to use a chisel edge, like bricks or wood or something like that. If I'm coloring something soft, like fabric, I like to use the brush tip. So, you know, that's up, you know, you can do whatever you like. That was just method to my madness. Here's a little Cool Gray 3. Not really a lot of difference. I don't think I'm going to use a lot of that. I want to go in here with a Cool Gray 1 and just kind of finish stuff off. And I want to do his handle of his hatchet with just this brown, because that's what I have over here, and I'm not going to go get fussy over that color. Alright, now I'm going to die cut this, and I want to show you another little tip, because I'm just full of them today. Let me zoom out a little bit here. This is how I store my thin dies. It's just a 6x6 album from the Dollar Tree. And I just have them in these page protectors with magnets in there. So I can, these are all I have. I don't have a lot. So, so it works out really well, for me. So I can look through and see what I have. And I think that probably one of these will work pretty well for me. So I have them all right there. I can decide whether that's what I want or if I want to go a little bit bigger. I kind of like that, so I'm going to go die cut that and I'll be right back. Alright, I've die cut my little guy here, and I'm just going to sponge on some sky color. I did my my thing slipped while I was die cutting, so I've got a little bit of a weird edge, but I'm really not going to worry about it. Life's too short. Kind of bring in some of that blue just to give it a little color. Give him a vignette look, and I think I'll use some of that yellow just to kind of fill in where I didn't color it very well here on the bottom. There we go. Okay. Alright, now I feel like he needs a little bit of a shadow underneath him, and I think I'm just going to go in a little bit with the brown color I was using, just to kind of help ground him. You know, you could use a gray if it was like on a street, or, you know, you didn't have another color going. In fact, I might take this little Cool Gray 5 just to help solidify it a little bit. And there you go. Just want to have, you know, just help give it a little bit of more like depth. Oh my gosh, a little bit like more of depth. That's, oh, I went to college. Oh my goodness. All right, so here's my plain white card base, and I've got this, and where is my adhesive hiding, I wonder? It appears to have wandered away. Well, that's all right. Okay, so there's my, imagine I had adhesive and I glued this down. It would be quite a wonderful thing. So that's where I'd put it. And then I got this here, and let's see, I've got my little sentiment. I think I need some ribbon or something. Let me pause that. Let me see if I can find some adhesive and some embellishments. Be back in a sec. Okay, I have no idea where I put my adhesive gun. I also just kind of die cut that. I think it's a little heavy. I don't know. I found a little scrap of rainbow paper that I thought might be fun in lieu of ribbon. So let's just kind of put this together. I think I want, maybe instead of using that heavy black black border, I'll just kind of ink the edges of my frame in black or something. Because I think that's too heavy. I want this to be light and bright and happy and not be heavy. So let's start by sticking this down. I really like rainbow on white. That's kind of like a white, black, and rainbow is very, it's very on trend right now, but I find that I really like it. I don't always like what's on trend, but I do like that. Oh, this is that miserable tape Oh no! This is the thing of tape that keeps ripping on me. Why did I grab this? This is going to be a pain in the butt. Alright, and so my tape is not cooperating, so I could do that and that, but I think this is too heavy, and I think that is not enough. So, you know what I might do? I might actually just trace the template that I used. I think what I'll do is I'll use a pen and I'll trace this, because this is the one I cut it with, and that would give me a nice 1/8 of an inch border. Let me pause this, and I'm going to trace this and cut it out, because that'll be very boring to watch. And then I'll get a much better border, I think. So there's another tip for you. Just tips everywhere, the tips. Hey, I found my ATG gun. That's good news, isn't it? It was over on my framing table, so I must have used that to put a dust seal on a painting. Yes, the other day. So, mystery solved. I'm using some foam squares. I did like the world's worst job of hand cutting on this, but you know, such is life. If you want the rainbows, you gotta put up with the rain. Oh, silly. Alright, so I did manage to stick that down. That's good news. I'm gonna stick the, see, kind of little strangeness up there, but oh well. What are you gonna do? And I think I'm just going to use some foam tabs for this as well. So, you know, it's a very simple card, but you've got to use a lot of fun stamping techniques and inking techniques and embossing techniques and yay, techniques. Alright, so we'll stick that right there. I don't know, maybe I will, I've been hankering to try to make some homemade enamel dots. So I'm thinking that that might be a lovely embellishment for this. So if I do that, I will maybe put another video up. Or just put it on there and share the results on my blog. And you know, hey, that's not too bad. I think maybe a couple little dots up here might be good because it's a little crooked or a little asymmetrical, whatever you want to call it. But there you go. Hey, it was fun, wasn't it? I think so. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, happy crafting!